Hello again, everybody. Good to see ya. So, this video is going to be something a little bit different, but something I plan on doing kind of going forward. Most of my videos are primarily going to be me opening something, whether it be to see what I got, like with cards, or if it's a figure, to kind of look at it more in depth or whatnot. But I also, along the way, probably not too primarily, but I plan to kind of show off a little bit of my collection. Whether it be cards that are rare or cards that have a special meaning to me, or maybe it's just a card I think looks really cool. Um, or with anything really. I have a lot of things that I could kind of show, give you an idea of what they look like and, how they look out of package, which is a good segue too before we get into these Pokemon cards we're going to look at today. I wanted to start off with this guy. So, one of the things I also avidly collect are Funko Pop figures. This was the kind of first one I've collected in the series of Light Up or whatnot. Um, so I have never fully taken this guy out of the box. And at the end of this video, spoilers, he will be going back into the box. It's just an easier way to display and show off my figures in my home. But I really want to take him out of the box, show you guys what he looks like out of box, and honestly, for myself, see what he looks like out of box. I got this guy a couple years ago. He was a Walgreens exclusive. I don't really have any Walgreens super close to me. I actually picked this up on a vacation. A good friend of mine sold this to me. So we are going to open up this Iron Man Infinity War Pop. It's a really cool looking one. It's really interesting too. Most of the Marvel Pops are solely bobbleheads, but guess they really couldn't make that work with a pop like this. Really cool looking guy, very shiny. So we just press this little button here, and that's really cool. Now they kind of made ones that are a little bit better and expanded upon this whole light up and whatnot gimmick. With sound and light ones, I do have two Star Wars ones that, maybe someday we'll get to those. I think those are kind of superior to this guy because, they stay on, lit up, and emit sounds of their lightsabers or whatnot. Whereas this guy's just kind of give it a little press, second or two it stays on, and then right off. But still, really cool figure. Love having him in my collection. And yeah, here he is. So with that out of the way, we're going to move all this pop stuff up over here. Plastic over here. We're going to get into some cards that I found in my collection that I'd really just like to talk to you guys about, show off, maybe tell a story or two about them along the way, and, just kind of show and tell. Been a while, right? Remember that when you were a kid, you'd bring your favorite toy or something to school and you'd make the kids listen to how much you love this action figure. That's basically what this channel is just going to be in general. But I was looking for cards because at the end of my videos, I like to do just showing off a card and talking about it. But I thought, let's do a whole video on it. So we're going to start with, I have a couple piles here that kind of fall into categories. We're going to start with these guys who I believe, yes. So we're going to start with Red's Challenge. These guys, I like the trainer Red in general. I think it's kind of a character that's better designed and better done than the main character of Ash Ketchum. But the reason I'm showing you this card is I wanted to do, here's what the regular version looks like. And then, voila. Here's the full art version. So I bought this one online because I, again, love the Trainer Red character, and I think the art on this is incredible. The only thing about it I really don't care for is if you look up top there, I hate how the wording cuts into his hat. Like, otherwise this would be a perfect card in my opinion. I just think that kind of, it doesn't ruin it, but, it could have been done a little bit better. A little bit of quality control would have been cool, just going, oh, can't see that. In that vein, one card I found that I thought was really funny is this one. the welder card. Nothing really all that special about the regular one, but if you look at the full art, we go from, hard worker and clunky clothing, to an absolute baddie. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like this card. I think I got this at a card event at my local mall. Bunch of vendors just set up in the mall. I go around and found this one. Thought oh, she's pretty cute. And again, I just thought it was really cool that the art it starts off with is just very basic and nothing, and then hey, guess what? There's a Hottie McDottie under there. So those are just two of the I wanted to show off, and I'll probably do that going forward with any of my show and tell cards. If I show off any kind of full art versions of a card, if I have the regular version available to me, I kind of like that cool little reveal I did. I hope you guys like that wrong one, where I had that in the sleeve. And spoilers, that I actually don't remember, but that may happen again in one of these piles. I don't remember. So let's find out. Okay, so this little pile I like to call the Japan version versus the American version. So I'll just show off both of these. Both of the cards that you'll see, again, Trainer Red, my favorite Pokemon trainer, if the camera will focus. Hello. There we go. So, I love Trainer Red. I think that it's a very more blank slate for a universe like this where you are supposed to feel like a Pokemon trainer. This and the one I'll show off after this boils basically down to I knew this one was going to exist, and I really didn't want to wait for it, or didn't really know if it would come overseas and we get it in an American set. So I bought it because I just love the art, the holo. I think this is adorable. But eventually we did end up getting this guy right here. Totally forget what set these guys came in. I do like that these are starting to make like a true lasting sense here of I have a couple more of these. Maybe we'll see those in the future, but I like the idea of them having it's a Pokemon card, but that Pokemon the art is going to be with the trainer it's most synonymous with. So just love this card, and I don't really know honestly if I prefer the silver border or the yellow border. I think the silver is this gray is more streamlined, but I mean they're basically the same thing. So there's that one. Next, we're gonna get into one that it's something. It's nothing too crazy, but we have this guy. This was from the Mewtwo. I believe it Strikes Back. What is it? It's from the Pokemon movie when they redid it on Netflix for in CGI and kind of retold it, but not really. So again, I thought this was really cool. I still technically prefer the original armored Mewtwo design. I could definitely appreciate it if you've seen the movie. Spoilers, this suit is also supposed to act as kind of like a trapping device in case he goes rogue. It's kind of like a big Iron Maiden suit. I think it's really cool, but nostalgia, and I think the design is really cool. So, and then we have its American counterpart. Again, bought this guy because I didn't know if we'd see it overseas here, but we eventually did in a tin, and I had to get both. I think it's a really cool card. Again, I think specifically the silver and gray kind of line it a little bit and make it look very interesting. I also like that the movie title is right here. We don't really have that anywhere on the English version. But yeah, so those are just two different cards that, I bought the Japanese version because I didn't know if we were going to get it over here. But I don't regret it. I love those cards. I think they're great. We're going to go to the next stack. So in this vein, it's pretty much the same, but I didn't get them because I necessarily wanted them. I just thought they were really cool. So anybody that's kind of well-versed in the lore or overall collecting of Pokemon cards might recognize these guys before I even get to the reveal. So we have these two cards. Please focus. You have these two cards. We have a regular Team Rocket Grimer and Misty's Tears trainer cards. Now on their own, not all that special, but we'll start with Misty's Tears because, it's not as funny. So here's what we got in America, and here's what they got in Japan. Now, it's not really completely explicit, but I could definitely see why this got changed in America, especially when I think Misty is like a child, maybe like a preteen age. So I could definitely understand why they didn't really want this being the art of this card in America. So they changed it to something very kind of generic. The only thing I think is lost in this card is I think it's very weird that it's Squirtle here and instead of like, I mean, I guess that wouldn't have worked with Staryu having like no hands, but Misty doesn't have a Squirtle or anything like that, whereas Staryu is, I think, Starmie is one of her iconic Pokemon in her gym, but so that's Misty's Tears. But honestly, my favorite one because I genuinely I love that this card exists. I think it's hilarious. So here's the Grimer we got in America, and here's the card they got in Japan. Wow. I just love that, that got okay. It's not necessarily disgusting or evil or just think of the children, please. But it's really funny that, they kind of mass produced this for something that more or less was made for kids. In case, you can't explicitly understand what's happening, that Grimer's definitely looking up this person's skirt. And I like that all they really had to do when bringing it over to America is just kind of let's just paint over the pupils and just, there we go. So I love those cards in my collection just because I love censored cards in general. I think they're great. We're going to move on to this next stack. So, okay, this is a stack mainly, I just kind of wanted to show them because a lot of people don't remember them or, I have to describe them weird. So I thought, let's show these guys. So we have a Raikou card. And we have an Entei card. But they're technically the same art. Oh, cool. Thanks, camera. Same art. You can see, I think this is a better way to put it. I don't know. It kind of looks like crap being in sleeves, but it's one big picture. Entei and Raikou. Entei and Raikou. I've heard Ryoku. I've heard this guy name described a few times, but this was one of their first gimmick cards was the Legends card. I know obviously there's EX and whatnot that might have predated this, but I think this is the first big gimmick card outside of maybe the e-reader cards. It's not even really a gimmick. It doesn't really affect the overall card game. It's more of just a thing for collectors or to use otherwise. But from what I remember, this was the first gimmick of the card game, and a lot of people don't remember them. One that I'm actively looking for. They're not easy to find. These were actually given to me by a very good friend of mine from his collection. He thought that they'd be much more loved and appreciated with me, and of course they are. They've been sitting in my binder for years now. But there's a version I'd really like of Deoxys and Rayquaza. They're very expensive, though. I almost got it once, but, user beware when using eBay. I looked at every sign, and very rarely do I get scammed, but the person I bought them from was very much somebody who wanted to scam me, and long story short, everything ended up okay and well. I left that person a very mean review, but all is well, and hopefully someday I get them. Recently, something like this has been kind of redone. They did this card very recently. Very poor way of holding it, but I love this. I love this card. This was from the Celebrations set. All these Pikachus are done in different art styles that have been drawn for the TCG game in recent years. I think this is such an amazing love letter to Pokemon and the TCG in general. I have the full version of this card. I think it was from a lunchbox tin. I have that. I actually have that like framed somewhere because I genuinely think this is like art. I would buy a poster of this thing blown up together. Uh, but it's cool that I'm seeing that they kind of brought that back in a sense. Spoilers going forward. I have never played the Pokemon TCG card game. I've never learned it, properly played it. So a lot of these gimmicks are kind of over my head. Um, hope somebody else out there can love and appreciate what they actually do. But I'm just somebody that really likes collecting very colorful and cool looking cardboard and paper. All right, so we're gonna get on to these two cards. These are two very special cards. One, I think a lot of you are gonna recognize like that very off the bat, and one of these is just very special to me. Um, so I'm just gonna you know what, I'm gonna get the personal one out of the way. I'm gonna keep you guys hype. Here it is. You're gonna know this card. You guys know this card. Anybody that knows the Pokemon card game or the Pokemon movies will know this card, but we're gonna leave that right there for now. And we're gonna get to this guy, and I'm gonna tell my very boring story about it. I love this card. When I first saw it, I thought it was great. I love the Go set in general. I think it's just such a cool thing that they did. Like, this is, I believe, in the like Pokemon Go announcement trailer was, a bunch of people doing a raid for Mewtwo in like New York or whatever. And I think that's a really cool alt art to do for the card. Very rarely do I kind of make getting an alt art my goal, mostly because of how hard they are to find and how expensive they can be. But I really committed to getting this card mainly because I loved the set in general. So I was like, I'll go for it. Let's just go for it. I bought an Elite Trainer box that honestly I almost put down in the store before leaving, but I thought I'd treat myself. And I opened a pack, and not only did I get this beauty, but I also got a Radiant Blastoise, which I didn't have at the time, which was just absolutely incredible. This is just one of those stories that you love to hear and see of, somebody knows a set and knows of a card they really want, especially a really rare one that they really want, and they get it. And this just made me really happy. Like, I actively, I think, remember screaming when I got that card because I was so happy to get it. Um, hmm. Yeah, we'll go with this one. We'll save that for the end. It's not really all that interesting, but I can't tease you guys and just not talk about this absolute classic. So, put a celebrations, the anniversary sleeve on this because absolute nostalgic, beloved card of the entire TCG go round. It's an Ancient Mew card. Um, love the card, how it's designed. It's based off of I believe a slab from the first movie. I'm actually going to take this one out of the sleeve just so you guys can get, not for long, I'll go right from the corners just so you guys can see. Like, this is so extra. This is, I wish that Pokemon and Pokemon movies would still do stuff like this. That is just like, look at the hollow, how it's made. Everything going for this card is just incredible, and anybody that's, well, like I said earlier, anybody that's well versed in the TCG or with Pokemon that's been around for a long time should just instantly see this card and go, nostalgia right in the feels there kind of deal. I love this card. I really wish we'd get something more like it. I'm surprised. I said I put the Celebrations sleeve on it, and the Celebration set was very much like a, lack of better term, celebration of the TCG and everything in general, but there really wasn't anything, like this for it, and I think that's kind of I don't want to say a waste, but I think it could have been really cool. And honestly, if you had done like a secret rare, if this was an alt art like for the Mew, I think there was a shiny Mew in that set. Like, this should have been the alt art for that Mew. That would have sold way better than it already did. It already sold well, I believe, but that would have like boosted that crap out of those numbers. So these three I'm going to end off on. They're not really going to follow up that great, but I want to have a level of interactivity with you guys. So I'm going to show you these cards that I've gotten from the Go set. These are the house leaders or the group leaders of the teams from Pokemon Go. Spark, Candela, Blanche. Probably just butchered that name. I'm so sorry. But like in the beginning, themes that go around from the beginning. We get to their full art. Now, these aren't all that really hard to get or find. You can get these in the team boxes for the Pokemon Go set. They also come with pins for each team. I think those boxes are absolutely like incredible for anybody that loves Pokemon Go or the Pokemon TCG. And I think they were only like $20 a box. I ended up getting like I think 4 or 5 of the Team Valor boxes. Go Team Valor. Hope there's some Team Valor guys out there. Last but not least, hello, camera. There we go. We go right into our last one. Now, you're probably wondering, Nick, why did you follow up these 3 relatively common but cool-looking cards after something as absolutely beloved as the Ancient Mew card? Well, the main reason I wanted to show these guys off was I want to then throw it out to you guys. What team do you rock? Which one of these is your favorite? Which one of the art is best on these guys? Comment, think about it, whatever. With that, that's pretty much the end of my Pokemon cards. In most videos, I like to end with showing off a Pokemon card I like, but since this whole video is basically a Pokemon show and tell, I'm just going to kind of leave you off with just where we've been through this video and all that, and I hope to see you guys very soon. I think this is the longest video I have so far. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll probably see something like this down the pipeline. Awesome. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it might be, wherever you might be. I hope you enjoy yourself and had a great time here, and I hope to see you again in the next video, all right? Later.